and welcome back to another video. I hope you have been keeping so very well and you're having a beautiful day so far. Today I wanted to bring you along for a classic what I eat in a day video, and I have 3 really delicious recipes that I'm excited to share and also eat today. Basically, I'm starting my day with a big glass of water. It is the summertime here in Australia and I'm feeling like at the moment I'm having to make like such a conscious effort to be hydrated. I have to drink so much water to be hydrated because it is so humid and so warm here at the moment. But yeah, this is basically the size of my head, so it's a pretty good and hydrated way to start the day. This morning I am about to head out and go for a little walk and also get some groceries for what I want to make today. Before I do, I am going to prep some chocolate hazelnut soaked oats. I feel like I go through such phases with what I enjoy eating, and at the moment I really have been feeling like a cold breakfast, not like a hot cooked breakfast, and that probably says something about the climate that I'm living in and the way that I would prefer to eat colder food. And back in the day before I worked online, I used to work in hospitality and work really early mornings a lot of the time, and I used to have these chocolate hazelnut soaked oats prepped in the fridge ready for me to have on the way to work in the morning for a time-saving purpose, and also because oats give me so much energy and really like get me through the day of being on my feet. So I've been revisiting making these lately, making them a little bit different to how I used to, and wow, they are really, really good. So if you do like chocolate hazelnut like I do, it's pretty much like my favorite sweet flavor of all time, this might be one that you will really enjoy. I'm going to prep this and leave it in the fridge so that when I get back, I can serve it and enjoy breakfast then. Hey Tiggy, hello, you gonna make breakfast with me? Yeah. Really? That's crazy. Okay, so I'm starting with about 3/4 of a cup of rolled oats, and then I'm adding in 1/2 cup of hazelnut meal. I'm gonna add in a heaped tablespoon of cacao powder, as well as a tablespoon of chocolate protein powder. Then I'm gonna add in some plant-based milk. I like using soy milk when I'm making soaked oats, and I'm also adding about a tablespoon of maple syrup to sweeten. I like adding a little pinch of salt to bring out the flavor a little bit more, and then I'm going to mix this together until it's all nice and well combined, and I remove the clumps of protein powder and cacao powder that are definitely going to want to form. Okay, I'm going to put this in the fridge for about an hour, and then once I'm back it should be ready to go, and we'll put some delicious toppings on it and enjoy breakfast very much so. Before we get into making some lunch, I want to say a big thank you to my friends at Squarespace who very kindly sponsored today's video. I have been using Squarespace for 4 years now. I love it so much, and it is the all-in-one platform to host and design your own website. I have made a number of websites and redesigned and designed numerous websites using Squarespace, and I genuinely find it to be such an easy, user-friendly platform to use, which is what keeps me using it and keeps me a customer of Squarespace. I genuinely love it so much. For me as a food blogger, I love having a space to be able to upload recipes to my website, which is always linked down below if you want to check it out and find some new vegan recipes to try. And as well as that, when I have sold things like my ebook, I love being able to do so using Squarespace. They have a commerce back end that is genuinely, again, so easy and so user friendly to use, because I didn't have any experience with anything like that, but found it so easy to set up and manage the orders coming in as well. If you're ever looking to host or design your own website, I couldn't recommend Squarespace enough. You can go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, you can go to squarespace.com/AmandaDux, and you can use my code, which is AmandaDux, and it gets you 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. I recently went to to this vegetarian pub and had this amazing vegan meal, which was this crispy salt and vinegar cauliflower that came with chips and slaw. And while I was eating it and then thinking about it afterwards because it was so good, I was like, I feel like this would be really, really good in a burger. So today I tried making this for the first time, and I cut up the cauliflower and soaked it in some vinegar. And then I made a batter with some panko breadcrumbs, some corn flour and some salt. Super, super simple. Blitzed it all together until it was really, really nice and smooth. And then once it was smooth, I transferred it into a bowl. When I make battered things like this, I also usually do a liquid. And so today I did soy milk, salt and some white vinegar. And the white vinegar kind of curdled the milk a bit to thicken it up a bit. And then it made it really easy to dip the cauliflower in. So I had it in the vinegar mixture, then dipped it with the milky vinegar mixture, and then coated it in those breadcrumbs. So I had 2 big chunks here, which are going to kind of act as like burger patties in this instance, and I fried them up in some oil until they were nice and crispy on both sides. You could definitely do this as florets if you want to have it as like a little snack side piece if you would like to. Then I also made the slaw. I'm not good at using this little kitchen gadget yet, so it was a little bit, look, I definitely wasn't using it the right way. So anyway, I changed over to a knife. I cut up some carrot, some red cabbage, and then I also cut up some apple. Apple in slaw is something that I had never had before, and now that I've had it, I'm like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. I feel like it just adds this extra little bit of sweetness, which goes perfectly if you're making like a summer kind of burger. So then I put these into a bowl with some lemon juice as well as some vegan mayonnaise, and I mix it all together, and then I start assembling my burger. So I'm using a vegan brioche burger bun. I put some avocado on as well as some spinach. Then I piled on some of that apple slaw, added on one of those crispy cauliflowers with some vegan mayo and a burger bun on top. Honestly, I'm having this feeling like I might have completely outdone myself with this burger. It looks so good, if I don't say so myself. It smells so good. I feel like it's going to be so crispy and delicious, and this slaw with apple in it just looks and it is so tasty. I feel like I'm so dramatic because every time I make a burger I'm like, wow, that's the best burger I've ever made. But truly, this is so ridiculously good. So as is probably obvious at this point, I'm definitely craving a lot of fresh food at the moment, and tonight is going to be no different when it comes to dinner. I'm going to make a Nourish bowl, which I recently have really, I think, recognized, and I might have talked about this before, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I really feel my best when I eat Nourish bowls, and I think it really just comes down to the fact there's a lot of plant diversity, and as well as that there's, you know, tends to be a source of protein, a source of fat, and a sort of source of carbohydrates, as well as like fresh veggies and stuff. So yeah, I really, really love a Nourish bowl, and always like can just like feel it in my body how good I feel after I've eaten a Nourish bowl. So I recently was like, I think I need to start like elevating my Nourish bowl game and eating them more often. And the thing I really enjoy about making Nourish bowls is the fact that there's no like set guideline in terms of, you know, what you're making. You really can kind of like mix it up, and the only, I guess, guideline, so I've just said that there's no guideline, but there probably is, the only thing I tend to follow is just like having like a really nourishing balanced meal essentially, and having that source of like protein, fat and carbohydrates and fresh veggies, and noticing that that feels really good on the body basically. So tonight I'm going to make a tempeh Nourish bowl with a peanut butter sauce, which in my opinion, tempeh and a peanut butter sauce pair perfectly together. The tempeh that I'm going to use, now I know that tempeh is not a popular ingredient with a lot of people and with you guys, so if you don't like tempeh, you can easily sub tofu in this recipe, just so you know. But the tempeh that I like to use tends to be ones that you can get from health food stores or specialty supermarkets. The tempeh that you can get in Australia at like major supermarkets, I really don't enjoy, to be honest. It's just so different to these ones. And the one that I've got today is a lupin and green pea tempeh that I got from the health food store, and it's also made in northern New South Wales, which is where I live, which is really cool. I am really excited to make this Nourish bowl for dinner, and if you like the look of it, I definitely recommend trying out something like this at home. Remember, you don't need to have like every single ingredient. You can easily sub things out or leave things out or add things or whatever you'd like to do. I think that's one of the cool things about making food like this and exploring cooking plant-based food in general, is that you can really be creative and learn a lot more about cooking, which is really fun. So I'm really excited to make this for dinner, so let's get into it. So I started by cutting up the tempeh, and I used half of a block and cut it into some cubes, and then I transferred it into a container and drizzled with some soy sauce as well as some sesame oil, just keeping it nice and simple. I put the lid on, and then I shook this up and left it to marinate for about 20 minutes before transferring it into a frying pan and frying it all up. I also cooked some quinoa over the stove at the same time, which I usually do quinoa or rice for this, depending on what I have on hand or what I'm feeling. And whilst the quinoa was cooking, I continued frying up that sesame soy tempeh. I also prepped some fresh ingredients. So in today's bowl, I decided to have some cucumber. I also had some radishes, which I've been really enjoying. And then I also had some carrot, which I used this peeler for to get it nice and thin. Then once that was all done, we are making the peanut butter sauce. So I put some smooth peanut butter as well as some soy sauce. And then I also add in some rice wine vinegar and some sesame oil. And I start mixing this together. I add water as I go to get it to the desired consistency. You want it kind of like this, like thick enough that it's not like a watery texture, but thin enough so that it is pourable in some capacity. This was like super perfect. So then it comes to assembling the bowl, and I put the quinoa in. I also added in some spinach. Fresh greens are so good in this. I added in the carrot as well as the cucumber. Then I topped it with some avocado as well as that sesame soy tempeh, which is nice and crispy now. Drizzled it with a whole heap of that peanut sauce, and then topped it with the radish as well as some sesame seeds for a bit of crunch. And I loved this dinner so very much. I really hope you enjoyed spending the day with me and seeing what I ate in a day and getting hopefully at least one new meal idea to try out at home. As always, thanks so much for being here and supporting my YouTube channel. I appreciate it and you so very much. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will see you very soon with another video. See you soon. Bye.